Good day everyone. Today we will going to discuss the educational system Philippines versus Malaysia. But before that, let me introduce myself using a Malay language. Selamat pagi semua. Saya Crystal Aura Valiendo Villamora, 21 tahun. Saya tinggal di San Roque, Bombon, Camarines Sur. Sekarang kita akan membincangkan analisis perbandingan antara sistem pendidikan Filipina dan Malaysia. Now, let's start with the structure of the education system. Levels of education. Philippines. In the Philippines, the mandatory years of education is 13 years. The K-12 is composed of 3 levels: primary, junior high school, and senior high school. Here in the Philippines, pursuing higher education is optional. So, meaning to say, the students has a choice whether to enroll to college or not. Whereas in Malaysia provides 11 years of free primary and secondary education from grade 1 to 11. The education system in Malaysia is divided into 5 stages: preschool education, primary education, secondary education, post-secondary education, and tertiary education. Mandatory years of schooling. Philippines. Primary education. Primary education has 2 levels. The primary level, which is the kindergarten to grade 3, and the intermediate level, which is the grade 4 to grade 6. The secondary education has 2 levels: junior high school, which is the grade 7 to 10, and senior high school, which is the grade 11 to 12. In Malaysia, 6 years of primary school education, which is the grade 1 to 6, are mandatory for all children. All children between the ages of 7 and 12 are required to attend the school, and secondary education is not legally mandated. Now, let's talk about the presence of alternative learning system. In the Philippines, the alternative learning system is a parallel non-formal education system that provides second chance education for out-of-school youth and adults who have not yet completed basic education in the formal system. This aims to complete basic literacy skills, provide access to equivalent pathways to complete basic education, and improve the quality of life for those who lack access to traditional schooling. While in Malaysia has alternative learning centers supported by the government agencies including United Nations High Commission for Refugees, NGOs, corporate foundation, faith-based agencies, communities, and individuals in providing alternative learning opportunities for refugees and undocumented and stateless children who do not have access to formal government school. It is said that there are about 300 alternative learning centers in Sabah, Malaysia. Curriculum pedagogy. Emphasis on STEM, language and vocational education. Philippines has STEM, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. Philippines focuses on innovation skills, problem solving, critical thinking, and technology literacy. It is stated in 1987 Constitution that Filipino and English are the primary language of instruction here in the Philippines. Also, we offer vocational education, and TESDA or Technical Education and Skills Development Authority plays a crucial role in its management and supervision. And Technical and Vocational Education and Training or TVET is a vital aspect of a Philippine educational system. While in Malaysia places great importance on STEM education. Malaysia has a centralized curriculum that focuses on developing well-balanced individuals who are knowledgeable, skillful, ethical, and responsible. Malaysia focusing on equipping students' skills in 21st century, global competitiveness, economic development, and problem-solving skills. In Malaysian public education, Bahasa Malaysia or Malay is the primary medium of instruction for national schools, whereas national-type schools use Mandarin or Tamil. Now, let's talk about integration of local history and culture. In the Philippines, Araling Panlipunan or social studies is a subject that primarily focuses on integrating local culture, tradition, and history. Philippines has a culture-based education. It is a strategy and philosophy where unique values, norms, cultural beliefs, knowledge, practices, heritage, language, and experiences of the community are integrated to education, whereas in Malaysia, local culture is interwoven in various subjects such as history, language arts, and social studies, providing students with holistic understanding of their heritage. Education in Malaysia emphasizes values like gotong royong or mutual cooperation, respect for elders, harmony with nature, promoting social cohesion, and positive character development. In Malaysia, they strengthen national identity. It fosters a sense of belonging and pride in Malaysia's rich heritage. Let's proceed with the use of technology. In the Philippines, we have innovative teaching methods, personalized learning, integration of technology, digital literacy, asynchronous learning, ICT-assisted teaching, DepEd computerization program, and DepEd learning management system or DLMS. While in Malaysia, Malaysia has active integration of technology in its education system. They focuses on digital infrastructure, resources, and skills development. And here are the following initiatives. 1B StarNet, Smart Schools, Dilemma, Didik TV, Digital Textbook, and EduWeb TV.
Selamat hari kepada semua sebelum saya meneruskan perbincangan. Seterusnya saya akan memperkenalkan diri saya mana saya Jasmine Asog dari Tinambak dan saya akan menjadi wartawan Anda untuk hari ini. Let's proceed to our next discussion, which is funding and resources government expenditure on education as a percentage of GDP. In Philippines, the education system is funded by national and local funds, donations, foreign loans, and other sources. The total percentage of GDP of Philippines is 3.6% in 2023. The PIDS paper reveals that the Philippines allocated only 3.6% on its gross domestic product or the GDP to education, trailing behind the regional standard of over 4%, while in Malaysia, the GDP growth rate for 2023 was 3.68%, a 4.97% decline from 2022. Malaysia's education system is funded by the federal government that has large portion of national budget to education. In 2025, the government allocated RM over 64.1 billion to education sector, while the availability of school facilities and teaching materials, Philippines has significant challenges regarding the availability of school facilities and teaching materials, especially in rural areas. They have inadequate infrastructure, lacking of teaching resources, poor conditions, low access to technology, and limited wash facilities. While in Malaysia has a widespread network of public schools. However, there is a significant disparity in the availability of school facilities. The rural areas often lacking basic amenities compared to urban schools, particularly in government-run institutions, where issues like poor maintenance and inadequate infrastructure are prevalent. Now, in teacher-student ratio, according to the recent data of DepEd, the teacher-student ratio in the Philippines average about 1 is to 35 in primary school, and junior high school is 1 is to 35. Same in primary school, while in senior high school, 1 is to 40, while in special education or the SPED is 1 is to 15, and 1 is to 25 in alternative learning system, while in the technical vocational school, 1 is to 20. While in Malaysia, as of 2022, the pupil-teacher ratio in the secondary education in Malaysia was 13.6 or 13 is to 6 pupils to every teacher. This was a increase compared to 2022 with 12.1 pupil per trained teacher. According to recent data, the teacher-student ratio in Malaysia is around 13 is to 1, with secondary education showing a pupil-teacher ratio of approximately 13.6 in 2022. Overall ratio 13 is to 1, while in secondary education ratio it's 13.6. As you can see, the student ratio in Philippines is more higher than Malaysian. Now let's proceed to the teacher qualification in Philippines. In order to teach in the Philippines, you must need a bachelor degree in education, such a Bachelor of Elementary Education, which is the BEd, or the Bachelor of Secondary Education, the BSED, and pass the licensure examination for teachers, which is the LET. Additionally, a valid professional license from the Professional Regulation Commission, the PRC, is required to practice. Also, the non-education graduates can also qualify by taking a teacher certification program or complete specific professional education units. They have a other requirements, which is the TEFL or the TESOL certification for international schools. They have also experience in teaching for certain roles only. A specific visa for foreign teachers, passing a background check. While in Malaysia, the teacher qualification, in order to become a teacher, the primary qualification needed a bachelor's degree in education. Same in the Philippines. Also, it is obtained through a program called Program Ezahas Sarjana Muda Perguruan. While in Malaysia, in order to become a teacher, the primary qualification needed is a bachelor degree in education, same in the Philippines. It is obtained through a program called Program Ijazah Sarjana Muda Perguruan, the PISMP, which provide the necessary foundational knowledge and skills for teaching in public schools. Teaching experience is not always mandatory. However, prior teaching experience can significantly improve your chance of securing a teaching position, especially in international schools. TEFL or TESOL certificate is required if you plan to teach English as a second language. While the access and inclusivity, we have a policies on free education. In Philippines, the primary school they have a Republic Act number 9155 on August 11, 2001, or also known as the Governance of Basic Education Act of 2001. And also we have a Republic Act number 10157 or also known as the Kindergarten Education Act. While in secondary education, we have Republic Act number 66 and 55 on May 26, 1968, also known as the Free Public Secondary Education Act of 1968. Also, we have Article 16 of the 1987, the Philippines Constitution. While in tertiary education, we have Republic Act number 10931 or also known as Universal Access to Quality Tertiary Education Act. While in Malaysia, Malaysian also has education policies that provide free primary and secondary to all citizens. We have the Education Act 1996, amended in 2002, or we can also call Ministry of Education. They have free breakfast program launched in 2022. The government also focused on bridging the gap between urban and rural education to improve the quality of education. As you can see, they have many differences between the policies on free education in the Philippines and in Malaysia. One of these is the Malaysia have a free breakfast program or even the lunch. While in the Philippines, alam naman natin na walang libreng breakfast or lunch dito sa atin. Talagang tayo yung magpo-provide. Now let's proceed to the access and inclusivity, enrollment and dropout rates. First, we will discuss the enrollment rates. DepEd has 28 million enrollees for 2023 to 2024. As of September 8, according to the DepEd, the total number of enrollees for the new school year has reached 26 million and 304,338. While according to the GMA Integrated News, as of August 5, 2024, more than 23.8 million students have so far enrolled as the school year 2024 to 2025 went into its second week. The Department of Education, the DepEd, reported that it has reached its 89.79% target for enrollees for school year 2024 to 2025. While the dropout rates in Philippines, the national higher education dropout rates is 39%, but for the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao, it is at a staggering 93.4%. The dropout rates have shown a concerning upward trajectory over the years between 2007 and 2013. The dropout rates of elementary students increased from 5.99% to 6.81%, while the secondary level dropout rates rose from 7.45% to 7.82% during the same period. Department of Education, the DepEd, records 5 million dropout in number report a dropout of more than 5 million in the number of enrollees for the school year 2023 and 2024. From last year, the projected attribute rates or the number of students who drop out in universities and colleges is the school year 2023 to 2024 is currently at 35.15%, slightly lower than 40.98% the previous year. The Commission of Higher Education, according to the CHAD. While in Malaysia, the enrollment rate is in 2022, Malaysian gross tertiary enrollment rate was 40.27%. The gross enrollment rates at secondary school was 85.51% in 2023. At the same school level, enrollment rates were high with more than 98% for both male and female students in 2022, according to Statista. While in tertiary education, the tertiary enrollment rate of 40.27% in 2022 indicates that approximately 40% of the population in the age group typically attending tertiary education are enrolled, while in secondary education, the gross enrollment rate of 85.51% in 2023 suggested a high level of participation in secondary education It is says trading economics. While in primary education, Malaysia's primary school enrollment rate are near universal with high percentage of both male and female students enrolled in 2022. While the dropout rates in Malaysia in 2023, Malaysia saw a decline trend in student dropout rates, especially the dropout rate of primary school students dropped to 0.06%, while the rate of secondary school students decreased to 0.83%. The decline is attributed to various strategies implemented by the Ministry of Education, including improved teaching and learning methods, schooling assistance, early detections of literacy and numeracy issue, and parent-friendly classroom assessment reporting. While the dropout rates for primary school students in Malaysia was 0.06% in 2023, while the dropout rates for secondary school students was 0.83% in 2023. Now let's proceed to the access and inclusivity or the access for marginalized group. Philippines has several laws and programs to ensure that students with special needs have access to education. We have Republic Act number 7277 or also known as the Magna Carta for Disabled Persons. This project the rights of people with disability to education. We have also the DepEd Order number 44 series in 2021. This aim to make school more inclusive by ensuring that students with disability are included in mainstream classes. We have program for special education or the SPED program. This provides support fund to school to help students with special needs. We have Bureau of Special Education or the BSE. This proposed bureau would provide financial assistance to economically marginalized students with special needs. Also, the Department of Education issued the policy guidelines of the provision of education program and service for learners with disability in the K-12 basic education program. While in the marginalized group in Malaysia, marginalized non-citizen children are included from formal education at public school, recognizing education as a fundamental human right, the barrier and facilitator to educational access among refugee and asylum seeker, migrant, stateless, and undocumented children in Malaysia were explored. Qualitative data were collected via 32 in-depth interview with multiple stakeholders. Data were thematically analyzed and organized at three socio-ecological levels. Those marginalized and indigenous groups who access public school reported bullying by local children, which paralyzed institutional discrimination against marginalized non-citizens.
Good day, everyone. Before we proceed to the next discussion, let me introduce myself first. Nama saya Mark V. De Vera, 21 tahun. Saya tinggal di Kanayunan Tinambak, Camarines Sur. Now, let's proceed to the assessment and accreditation. The national exam and standardized test. In the Philippines, we have the National Career Assessment Examination or NCAE. The NCAE shall be administered into 2 consecutive days within the testing windows through a paper-based modality. Also, it mandated by the Department of Education. The NCAE is a standardized aptitude test that aims to raise career awareness among the youth and assess student abilities in different areas to find their best skills. We have the Philippine Education Placement Test or PEPT. The PEPT is a placement exam that is usually for out of school youth so that they could enter formal school system and for those who are overage in school, children or youth. We have the early language literacy and numeracy assessment. It's provide examiners with instruction or pre-test activities like preparing the testing room, seating students, and orientation. We have the Basic Education Exit Assessment or BEEA. The BEEA is a standardized assessment tool geared to assess the student learning progress and attainment of senior high school learning standard. It is an exit exam that assesses a student's skills pertaining to the reading, writing, critical thinking, and math. We have accreditation and equivalent test. The accreditation and equivalent test is a program component of ALS aimed at providing an alternative pathway of learning for out of school youth who have the basic literacy skills but have not completed the K-12 basic education mandated by the Philippine Constitution. In the Philippines, assessment at the kindergarten level are conducted through regular teacher observation. The SREYA or School Readiness Early Years Assessment. We have ECCD or Early Childhood Care Development. Checklists and other forms of assessment are utilized for this purpose. Statutory national curriculum assessments are administered at the end of this elementary and junior phases education in grade 6 and 10 respectively. Also in grade 12, student achievements is measured through internal assessment as well as Department of Education Basic Education Exit Assessment. While in Malaysia, the Malaysian education system also uses a variety of assessment methods, but it places a greater emphasis on standardized testing. In Malaysia, the primary national exam and standardized test is called the Sijil Pelajaran Malaysia or SPM, which translates to the Malaysian Certificate of Education, taken by all students at the end of their secondary school education or Form 5. It is the equivalent of General Certificate of Secondary or GCSE of England, Wales, Northern Ireland, the National 4th and 5th of Scotland, and the GCE Ordinary Level 0 level of the Commonwealth of Nation. We have the international benchmarking. In the Philippines, one indicator of country state of basic education is the Program for International Student Assessment or PISA, which showed dismal bottom ranking of Philippines. 78 out of 78 in 2018 and 77 out of 81 in 2022. PISA in 2022, 76 out of 81 in mathematics. We have 355, 76 out of 81 reading literacy, we have 348, 79 out of 81. In science literacy, we have 357. In Malaysia, the average of performance in science of 15-year-olds is 416 points, compared to an average of 485 points in OECD countries. Some 1% of students in Malaysia were top performers in mathematics, meaning that they attained level 5 or 6 in the PISA mathematic test, or OECD average of 9%. Let's proceed to the global competitiveness. We have in the Malaysia, the World Competitiveness Ranking in 2024, issued by the Swiss-based International Institute for Management Development, or IMD, placed Malaysia in 34th position out of 67 countries on its list, while the Philippines ranked 59th in the 2020 Global Innovation Index, or GI, sliding down 8 places from its 2021 ranking. Likewise, the country's rank in innovation inputs dipped from 72nd in 2021 to 76 in 2022. Innovation outputs fell from 48 in 2021 to 51st in 2022. Let's proceed to the best practices in Asian counterparts. In the Philippines, we have Mother Tongue Based Multilingual Education, or MTB-MLE. We have K-12 program reforms. We have Alternative Learning System, or ALS. We have Senior High School Voucher Program in public and private partnership. In Malaysia, they have Penang Malaysia Community-Led Initiative for Sustainable Municipal Waste Management in Penang, Malaysia. In Sabah, Malaysia, they have micro hydropower for rural electrification and Ulu Papar small hydropower project development in Malaysia. In Siberang Perai, resilient and inclusive, green, competitive, and technology-driven smart city by Ahmad Sabri Mohammed Sarajuddin, Director of Crisis Management Departments in Siberang Perai. They had Putrajaya Green City 2025 by Wang Tziwi Putrajaya Corporation in Malaysia. They had also a greener, better Kuala Lumpur by Datuk H.J. Mahadi bin Chinga, the Executive Director in Kuala Lumpur City Hall. They had also Iskandar Malaysia Low Carbon Society by Boyd D. Joman Head Environment Division, Iskandar Regional Development Authority, or IRDA. Now let's proceed to our recommendations. In Malaysia, increase emphasis on English language, improve the quality of teacher through training and seminars, encourage extracurricular activities and plan co-curricular events, encourage kids to strengthen their critical thinking skills, implement an interactive teaching approach, priorities coursework over examination, concentrate more on practical topics. Lastly, ensure that the program is consistent for all kids. Also, in the Philippines, our recommendation: first, the funding and resources allocation. We have allocate a larger portion of the national budget to education, aiming for the UNESCO standard of 66% of GDP. prioritize funding for under-resourced areas, particularly in rural regions, improve quality of teachers, provide training programs focusing on modern teaching methodologies and professional development, increase teacher salaries to attract and retain high quality educators, review and revise the curriculum to emphasize critical thinking and problem solving, creativity, and collaboration skills, provide scholarship and financial aid to students from low income families, encourage adult encourage adult education programs, promote continuous learning and upskilling. Lastly, develop accessible pathways for further education and training after secondary school. And that's our recommendation to improve the education in the Philippines and also in Malaysia.